Ayan Rahman had repaired over 6,000 watches in his lifetime. He had restored heirlooms older than empires. He had synchronized railway clocks. He had adjusted the ticking of marine chronometers that once navigated oceans, but he had never questioned what they were actually measuring, until the clocks disagreed. It began subtly. A brass pendulum clock in the corner began losing 5 seconds per day. He adjusted it. Perfect again. The next morning it had gained 8. The digital atomic clock mounted near the ceiling, a modern, supposedly flawless device, began flickering between seconds as if uncertain. Tick, tick, tick. Ayan opened the casing. Nothing wrong. Voltage stable, signal intact. And yet something felt off. He closed the shop early and locked the door. The clocks continued their layered chorus. Mechanical ticks, quartz pulses, digital beeps. He sat in the center of the room, closed his eyes, and listened. The sounds were not aligned, not slightly off and radically off. Each clock seemed to inhabit its own private rhythm. His chest tightened. Time was supposed to be universal, wasn't it? He stood and began synchronizing them manually, one by one. Minute hand aligned, second hand adjusted. Digital reset. Pendulum nudged. For a moment, perfection. A chorus in harmony. But within minutes, divergence returned, like musicians drifting into separate tempos. Ayan felt a cold realization. The clocks were not wrong. They were just elsewhere. That night he couldn't sleep. He lay in the dark and stared at the ceiling. He tried counting. 1, 2, 3. At 29 he lost track. He started again. This time he pictured a line of light moving forward in the dark. Click, click, click. Better. But then a strange thought surfaced. If time is something that moves, what does it move through? Silence. If it flows, where is the current? And how fast? 1 second per second. That was meaningless. That was like saying distance travels 1 meter per meter. He turned on the lamp and grabbed his notebook. He drew a simple diagram. Horizontal axis, space. Vertical axis, time. He placed a dot, himself, then drew a vertical line upward. "That's me sitting still," he whispered. Then he angled the line slightly. "That's me walking." The more horizontal the line became, the less vertical it could be. He stared. If motion through space steals motion from time, then time isn't flowing. It's a direction, and movement redistributes your motion between directions. His pulse quickened. He thought of satellites, of relativity, of clocks on fast-moving objects running slower, not malfunctioning, not broken, just moving differently through reality. He suddenly didn't feel sleepy. He felt exposed. The next morning, a boy entered the shop. No shoes, no watch. "You fix time?" the boy asked. "I fix clocks." "Same thing?" "No," Ayan replied automatically. The boy placed a blank watch face on the counter. "No numbers, no hands. It doesn't measure anything," the boy said. "Because there's nothing inside." "Exactly." Ayan swallowed. "If nothing in the universe changed," the boy continued, "would time still exist?" Ayan hesitated. "If nothing changed, there would be no way to measure it. So is time something that exists by itself?" the boy asked softly. "Or is it just the label we give to change?" The shop felt smaller. The clocks louder. Ayan whispered, "It's how we order events." The boy nodded. "Then maybe your clocks aren't broken." "Then what is?" The boy smiled faintly. "Your idea of now." Ayan stopped repairing watches. Instead, he began measuring differences. He placed 2 identical mechanical clocks in different rooms of the shop. One near the warm window, one in the cool storage area. Temperature affects expansion, he knew, but he compensated for that. Perfect calibration. After 48 hours, they differed by 0.002 seconds. Tiny, but real. He widened the experiment. 1 clock upstairs, 1 downstairs. Same result. He drove 1 clock across town and left it with Farah, the bakery owner. When he returned the next day, the clocks disagreed again. Microscopic differences, but consistent. He wasn't observing failure. He was observing structure. He drew a new diagram. Not just space and time, but a woven grid, a fabric. What if time and space weren't separate? What if they were interwoven threads? He imagined the universe as a giant sheet. Masses placed on it would stretch it, warp it, and clocks sitting in different stretches would tick differently. He remembered something from physics lectures long ago. Gravity isn't a force pulling things, it's curvature. Clocks deeper in gravity tick slower. Time near massive objects runs differently. Not metaphorically, literally. He felt a strange vertigo. If time bends, then now can't be universal. He pictured two observers, one standing still, one walking away at high speed. Their slices of reality and their nows would cut through space-time at different angles. What was future for one could be present for another. He stepped outside and looked at the sky. Stars glittered. Each star's light was old, years old, centuries old. He wasn't seeing stars as they were. He was seeing them as they had been. The universe was not a live broadcast. It was a layered archive, and everyone observed a different slice. There was no cosmic present moment, only intersecting perspectives. He felt small and strangely liberated. The boy returned that evening. "You look different," the boy said. "I stopped trying to make time behave," Ayan replied. And it behaves beautifully." The boy tilted his head. "Then what's the problem?" Ayan pointed upward. "If someone on a planet a million light years away defines now, it won't match mine. So there is no single now covering the universe." The boy nodded slowly. "Good." "Good?" Ayan echoed. "Yes, because if there were, it would mean reality revolves around a central clock, and it doesn't." The boy stepped closer. "Imagine the universe as a loaf of bread." Ayan blinked. "You slice it differently depending on how you move." He felt a chill. "That means the future already exists as structure," the boy finished. "But that doesn't mean it's determined. It just means it's arranged." The clocks inside ticked. But now Ayan didn't hear rhythm. He heard geometry. Ayan thought he understood. Until the egg fell. It happened accidentally. Farah dropped a tray in the bakery. An egg shattered on the floor. Shell fragments scattered. Yolk spread. Flour dust settled over it. Everyone laughed. But Ayan froze. He imagined reversing the scene. The yolk leaping up. The shell assembling. The egg sealing itself. Impossible. But why? The laws of physics allow most motions forward and backward. Planet orbits look fine reversed. So why not eggs? He crouched near the spill. It wasn't about time. It was about probability. There are countless ways for an egg to be broken, but only one way for it to be whole. Nature moves toward disorder because there are more disordered states available. Entropy increases, and that increase creates the arrow. The arrow isn't built into time itself. It's built into statistics. Memory works the same way. You remember breakfast because it left ordered traces in your brain. You can't remember tomorrow because it hasn't left traces yet. Not because time blocks it, but because entropy hasn't moved that way. The arrow of time isn't a river, it's a gradient of disorder. He returned to the shop and looked at the mysterious sideways ticking clock. It wasn't ticking forward. It wasn't ticking backward. It was marking change in another direction. He realized something unsettling. If entropy stopped increasing, if the universe reached perfect equilibrium, there would be no meaningful distinction between past and future. No memory, no anticipation, no story. Time would still exist geometrically, but it would have no arrow, no direction. And without direction, consciousness might dissolve. The boy appeared in the doorway one last time. "You figured it out," he said. "Part of it." "And?" Ayan looked at the clocks. "They don't measure time." "No, they measure change." The boy smiled. "And you?" Ayan exhaled slowly. "I measure patterns in change." "And now?" Ayan looked at his own watch. It ticked calmly. He no longer imagined a river. He imagined a four-dimensional structure, a vast architecture of events, and himself at not being carried, but tracing a path through it. "There is no universal now," he said softly. The boy nodded. "Good." Then he stepped outside, and for the first time in his life, Ayan didn't feel like time was pushing him forward. He felt like he was moving through something silent and enormous. Not a river, not a clock, but a landscape. And somewhere within it, every moment existed, not flowing, just arranged,